Are you facing unemployment and need financial assistance quickly and effectively right here in Rhode Island? Stay with us because we're going to walk you through every single step to file for unemployment online, totally stress-free. Look, if you've recently lost your job, you're probably feeling pretty stressed about securing that financial assistance quickly and, more importantly, doing it correctly. Navigating the bureaucratic maze of state websites, yeah, it can be totally overwhelming. But take a breath. You are in exactly the right place. I'm going to be your guide today. We're going to walk through every step to get your claim filed online without the usual confusion. By the end of this explainer, you'll know exactly how to secure those benefits you have rightfully earned. So here's our roadmap for today. We're treating this like a mountain climb. First, the base camp, covering preparation and basics. Second, checking your gear, where we look at eligibility. Third, the ascent, our step-by-step filing guide. Fourth, navigating hazards, looking at pitfalls and weekly requirements. Fifth, trail scenarios with some examples and FAQs. And finally, reaching the summit with resources and a quick wrap-up.
All right, let's start with Section 1, the base camp, preparation and basics.
Unemployment insurance is really just there to partially replace your wages when you're out of work through no fault of your own. And understanding the financial stakes here, it is crucial. Depending on what you earned previously, your weekly benefit rate could actually reach a maximum of $745. That is a massive financial lifeline. So it's absolutely vital that we get this filing process perfectly right. Moving right along to Section 2, checking your gear, eligibility. Now, you don't automatically qualify just by applying, right? Rhode Island has very specific financial thresholds you have to meet during a 12-month time frame. They call this your base period. Basically, you can qualify in one of two ways. First, the standard formula, which is a flat $15,600 in total earnings, or you can use the alternative formula. For that one, you need to have made at least $2,600 in your highest earning quarter, your total wages need to be 1.5 times that highest quarter, and you need at least $5,200 overall. It sounds like a math test, but it's really just making sure you've worked enough to qualify. But hey, it's not just about the money. The actual reason you're unemployed matters immensely. Standard economic layoffs, furloughs, or company closures, you're good to go. You're eligible. However, if you voluntarily quit without a legally recognized good cause, or if you were fired for intentional workplace misconduct, think like blatantly violating safety rules, well, you're going to be disqualified from receiving those benefits. Okay, Section 3, the ascent, step-by-step filing. Before you even sit down at your keyboard to file, let's make sure you have your gear ready. You absolutely need to gather a few specific items so your application doesn't time out. Grab your social security number, make sure you have a valid email address, reliable Wi-Fi, and if you're a non-US citizen, your alien verification documents. No tech access? No problem at all. You can always safely use a DLT Career Center or even your local public library. All right, let's actually build this claim step by step. First things first, head over to the UI Online portal. Once you're there, you'll create an account. The state is going to ask you some security questions to verify your identity against tax records. Next up, you'll enter your historical employer records and, this is key, truthfully specify the nature of your job separation. Finally, you just validate your direct deposit info and hit submit. Remember, complete honesty is absolutely critical here. The state system automatically cross-references your data with national identity and employer databases, so keep it accurate. On to Section 4, navigating hazards, pitfalls, and weekly requirements. Here's the deal. To keep getting paid, Rhode Island law actually requires you to actively look for work. You absolutely must complete and log 3 specific work search activities every single week, without exception. At least one of those has to be a direct application to a suitable job opening. The other 2, they can be supplemental things like attending a job fair, networking on LinkedIn, or doing a formal interview. Crucially, you've got to maintain a written or digital log of all these activities for at least a year, mostly because the state does conduct random audits. Now, while you're searching, what happens if you actually get a job offer? Well, if an offer comes along that meets the exact legal definition of suitable work, meaning, you're qualified for it, the commute is reasonable, and it's a safe environment, Rhode Island law says you must accept it. If you refuse a suitable offer, you have to report that refusal during your weekly certification, and frankly, you risk losing your benefits entirely. Failing to report income correctly is honestly one of the biggest hazards you can face in this process. Messing this up can lead to an overpayment penalty, massive fines, or worst case, felony fraud charges. When you do your weekly certification, you must report your gross income. That means your earnings before taxes are taken out. Even if you just worked a quick part-time shift and haven't physically received the paycheck yet, you still need to multiply your hours worked by your hourly rate and report that exact number for the week the work was done. Oh, and the exact same rule applies to severance pay or pensions too.
Let's hit Section 5. Trail scenarios, examples, and FAQs.
Now, you might be wondering, are there any exceptions to that strict 3-activity weekly work search? Yes, actually. The Department of Labor and Training will exempt you under a few specific scenarios. For instance, if you're temporarily furloughed, but you have a definite set date to return to your employer within 12 weeks, your search requirement is completely waived. Same thing goes if you're a union member in good standing with the hiring hall, or if you're actively enrolled in a state-approved vocational training program. But heads up, if you're just working part-time hours to make ends meet, you are not exempt. You still have to actively search for full-time employment.
Finally, we are at Section 6, Reaching the Summit, Resources, and Conclusion.
You're going to want to keep these exact resources super handy. If the UI Online system crashes while you're applying, or your account randomly locks you out, do not panic, and definitely do not try to submit duplicate claims. That just tangles things up. The best way to get technical support is to fill out the official UI Online technical help form online. You can also use their automated phone system for weekly payments if your internet goes down, or just call General Claims Intake for any further guidance.
Just a quick professional reminder before we wrap. State bureaucratic regulations, wage minimums, and filing protocols, they can and do evolve over time. So always verify the most current details, thresholds, and requirements directly from official Rhode Island Department of Labor and Training sources before you hit submit on anything.
All right, equipped with this structured roadmap, you have absolutely everything you need to navigate the state system successfully, dodge those common pitfalls, and secure your financial lifeline. Understanding this process entirely removes the stress, which allows you to focus your energy where it truly belongs, looking forward to your next great career opportunity. So I'll leave you with this question. What is the very first step you are going to take today to reclaim control of your career journey?